Hello and welcome back to Lorcana Villain. My name is Baker, and today we're going to be reviewing some more of the upcoming Lorcana Set 6 Azurite Sea. At point of recording, most of the set has been revealed. There's still a few more reveals to come. In prior videos, I've looked at maybe a third of the set so far, so I've got an awful lot to look at. So I am going to focus today on looking at cards that I specifically think are into whether it's like definitely high meta potential or just interesting in any way. But yeah, if it's more vanilla and I don't think it's really going to impact too much, then I may well skip it. If I do end up skipping anything that you'd really like to hear my thoughts about, feel free to let me know down in the comments. But before we go into that, I want to talk just a little bit about Elestrals. Elestrals is a card game that some of you may be familiar with, created by A-Drive, which if you followed Pokemon online, then you've probably heard of A-Drive. I'm a big Pokemon fan, so A-Drive is absolutely someone that I was familiar with. And yeah, he and his team have created a new card game called Elestrals, and it is going to be coming to Pixelborn. This video that's playing at the moment is from the Elestrals YouTube channel, which you can go check out yourself. It will be linked below. Just to note, this isn't a paid sponsorship. The guys at Elestrals were kind enough to send me a package of goodies, which we're going to take a proper look at in a moment. But there was no expectation or request to plug it in a video or anything. It was just a matter of, hey, would you like us to send you a creator box so you can, you know, have a look and see what Elestrals was all about? And I was more than I was honored to be asked such a question. And yeah, they sent it, and yeah, it's super cool. And as I said, it is going to be coming to Pixelborn. This is their Kickstarter, which will be linked below. And yeah, contributing towards their Kickstarter can not only get you early access to the game, but there's a bunch of extra goodies that you can get based on your pledge amount, which are listed here, down here. Yeah, depending on how much you pledge for the Kickstarter, you get different things. Of it, you get beta access to the online client, and then you can get things like HD wallpapers. Worth mentioning, all the cards will be completely free in the game. There will be things like cosmetics, or I think like alt arts and stuff, there will be a system where you can spend money. But all the cards in their base form, from my understanding, are going to be completely free at launch. But yeah, if you back the Kickstarter, then you get early access. You can get some unique HD wallpapers, and you get like in-game online currency, and you can also get actual product based on how much you pledge. They will send you actual product, booster packs, play mats, a variety of stuff from the Elestrals IP. As I said, that Kickstarter will be linked down below, as will the Elestrals YouTube channel, which is doing really well in promoting the game. You can find a video which teaches you how to play, and there's already tons of videos of players that have picked up the game. It's got quite a good fan base from what I've seen, and yeah, some YouTubers and fellow other creators that have picked it up. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of won over just by I was half won over just by seeing Shady Penguin, because I'm a bit of a Shady Penguin mark. I'm optimistic that one day in my Lorcana future I will get to interact with him in some way, because I'd love to meet him. But yeah, so looking super cool, and I'm someone that's not played a whole bunch of TCGs. Like, it's literally Lorcana, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh, which is about as basic as it can get, and I don't have the time or finances to try out multiple games, but this does look cool. I'm really won over by the art style, and of course, if there is going to be a free online client, then I am tempted to give it a go. They've got an official website here where you can order physical product, and yeah, this is some of the art from one of the sets, and yeah, a lot of it is really cute. It does appeal to me. One thing that I do think is super cool is, if you know me, you know I'm a sucker for like deep lore. Anytime any lore comes out about Lorcana, I'm well on it. And yeah, Elestrals have absolutely taken the time to make sure that their IP has a story. There's already a couple of chapters up on the official website, and when they reached out to me, I did message A-Drive back. I was like, hey, if you need someone to do some narration for some Elestrals lore, I'm available. That's all I'm saying. And yeah, this is the goodie box that they sent me, so I'm going to do my best to show it off a little bit. Just a quick editor's note, apologies, I forgot to take off my green screen effect for this part of the video, so some colouring may look a little weird. Do not fear Demon Bulbasaur. He can't hurt you. But yeah, super grateful to the guys over at Elestrals for sending me this, and once again, this isn't a paid sponsorship, nor was it a condition of being sent the box. They didn't ask me to mention it in content or anything like that. They just said, hey, would you like one to check out the game? But of course, if they're gonna be kind enough to do something like this, then of course I'm gonna shout them out. And yeah, like I said, I don't play a lot of TCGs. Like, the only ones I've ever played in my life other than Lorcana were Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, which is about as basic as it comes. But this does look cool. The art style in particular does a lot for me. And again, the fact that there's going to be an online client, that speaks volumes. But yeah, we got 3 different booster boxes. 5 singles, which I think a couple of them are from one of these boxes. And then I think there's like 1 or 2, like a tournament one, I believe. Yeah, tournament pack, which is super, super cool. And yeah, I got sent this one, which was very, very cool. Already in a brick. And yeah, I will say the art style does do an awful lot for me. I'm trying to find a good point where the camera isn't completely blurring it up. I'm not doing a great job. There we go. That's not too bad. Yeah, super cool art, super cute. And there's plushies as well, which is a way to win me over. There's an additional game card in there. I'll open that in a minute. I'm going to open one of the packs in this video. That's 1 more additional game cards. And I think a couple more. Yeah, 1 more of those. So like 4 promo sort of like additional cards. 5 boosters or 6. And then, oh, there's even more in here. There's another additional game card. There you go. We got lots of additional game cards up in here. But yeah, booster looks super, super cool. I am excited to open one of these and check this out. We got the Elestrals Daybreak, which is super cool. Great art again. Elestrals Frostfall. Again, look at that. Like, major props for like production and design, because these really are absolute. Oh, there's a mate. Mate, I didn't realize there was a mat. I opened this a few days ago. This arrived a few days ago. I'm only just getting around to opening this. Sorry, to filming this video. But I opened it just to take a quick look, but I didn't empty it. I didn't realize there's a full-on... That's upside down, mate. There's a full-on playmat, dude. Mate, that's cool. And I think this is one of their, like, first signature characters. Elestrals. They're called Elestrals, Baker. I think this is one of their... It's like something rabbit. I'll double check. But I think that's one of their... sort of like signatures. But yeah, and matte is decent quality as well, and that's super cool. TCG players tend to like play mats, so well happy with that. And again, this box just in itself is super sturdy and going to be pretty good for storage. It was well packaged as well, nice and safe. And yeah, the last booster box just called Elestrals, so I'm guessing this was the first one. There is a 1 there. So maybe that does mean it was the first one, or first edition, I don't know. But again, just the fact that it's just called Elestrals is super cool. But yeah, 5 booster packs. Let's open one straight away. We got to at least show off an opening, you know what I mean? So see how easy these are to get into. That wasn't too bad. I don't know if there's some sort of like card trick for where the rare generally is. Let's try and get this actually in focus. We nearly had it there for a moment. There you go. Okay, we've got Plucky. Decent quality cards as well. We've got more Frost. Don't he look cute? Oh, we got a foil. Griffus. I'm definitely going to be mispronouncing at least a couple of these. Let's have a look. We've got Necruff. He looks like he's seen... They look like they've seen some things. Blazarius. It could be Blazarus or Blazarus. I'm not sure. Nonetheless, they all equally look like they have experienced some things. We got Twindra. That's pretty cool. Yeah, the art is super impressive on these, I won't lie. Polzer. He looks like he's skipped morning coffee. I know the feeling. We've got Nebula. Or Nebuleo, probably. I'm not sure. Super cute. Gloombat. Oh, this is a bit of me, that. Gloombat's a bit of me, my friends. We've got Poisoned Nectar. Bruh, that is stunning. Look at that. Mate, I am super impressed. I mean, I can't afford any more TCG hobbies. I can barely afford Lorcana, but super happy to get my hands on some of these. And Flurmine. Not bad at all. We'll open one more, and then we'll call it there. I want to keep these... I want to keep these clear. I need to get some sleeves for me cards. Right, let's open one more of these. We've got the Pinky Owl, we've got the Fire Monkey, and some sort of snotty fire salamander. Personally, I'm feeling the pink purple owl. I'm colorblind, by the way. I don't know if I've ever said that in content. Okay. Let's get this open. Right, last one that we're going to open, and then we're going to go look at some Lorcana cards. Trying to get into focus. Failing miserably. There we go. We've got Specteris. Again, I'm sure I'm butchering a lot of these names. Get back into focus. We've got Drakid. Whoa, that's super cool. We've got Draking. Yo, is this an evolution? I think it's got its own word for you ascend, I think is the word. We've got Norby. We've got Fawnlit. Again, like, shout out to the art for being stunning. We got another Drakid. I sent A-Drive a message after this video showing him the falls that I pulled here. And this Drakid is apparently worth about $250 to $300. It's one of 99. But this is a foil. I don't know if it's the same one, but I think it's a different art. So maybe there are lots of Drakids. We lost. Oh, what is this? Oh, I think this is this is basically the resource system that the game uses. I have had a look at the how to play, which is available on the Elestrals YouTube site. I need to watch it again. I definitely don't have the rules fully down, but it does look super interesting. Elestrals is going to be available both on Steam and eventually on mobile as well. The alpha is expected by December 1st, the beta by the end of the year, and then the public app release is predicted for Q1, likely in March. But yeah, a huge thank you to the guys at Elestrals for sending me that, and yeah, there'll be links down below for you to check it out if you would like to. But yeah, this wasn't a sponsorship. There was no expectation for me to do this, but I'm super grateful for them sending it over, and yeah, if it looks like something that might appeal to you, then do please check it out. But we're going to get on with the main source of the video, looking at some Azurite Sea. A shout out to the actual channel sponsor, Cardmarket. If you're looking for Lorcana singles at competitive rates, then check out Cardmarket. But let's take a look at some Azurite Sea. Alright, so at this point in time, a lot of the set has been uploaded to Dreamborn. Not all of it. There are a few cards missing, for which, if I want to talk about them, we'll just be looking at Mushu Report. I have looked at the vast majority of the Amber cards. There is one here that I think is kind of interesting. We've got Good Job, 1 cost inkable action, chosen character gets +1 lore this turn. It's simple, but for an aggro deck, could be super cool. And again, we know whether you're an action, whether you're a song, just those things can be relevant. So maybe there's an aggro deck that is benefiting from some sort of action package to make this even more worth it. I'm not expecting it necessarily to go straight into decks. I think you would prioritize things like Donald Duck, who gives an extra lore pip, and I think there's another character coming in this set that does something similar. But whenever we're adding lore for an inkable 1 cost, you can't write it off completely. So I don't think it's an instant add, but certainly one that could pop up. And the only other Amber card that's been revealed that I haven't talked about that I want to talk about is this Simba, Pride Protector. This art is out of this world. Kendall Hale always seems to knock it out the parks. Like the amber glyphs on his arms. Love it. 5 cost uninkable, 4/4 quest for 2. Shift 3. Hero Prince. I need to start saying the characterizations because they're mattering more and more as time goes on. I mean, they've mattered for a while. Understand the balance. At the end of your turn, if this character is exerted, you may ready your other characters. So first of all, this shifts 3 and is a 5 cost, so this is a potential singer for things like Whole New World, Grab Your Swords, and any other future good 5 cost songs that we might get. Amber already has the 2 cost inkable bodyguard, Simba from chapter 1, and we're also getting this 2 cost inkable 1/4 Simba, which is going to make a very nice shift target. There are also 1 cost Simbas in both Steel and Ruby, so those are potential options. So yeah, just as a singer, there's absolutely some potential here. It hurts him being uninkable, that might throw off that idea. But yeah, this ability, obviously the first thing that most people thought of when they saw this is going to be aggro, to be able to play 1 cost, play 1 and 2. I mean, you need your shift target in there somewhere, but you don't necessarily have to do this shift on 3. You could do this shift on 4 and 5 and like just be patient with your questers and then like get a huge questing turn and then play this and ready it all up. So I think this card is super strong, even outside of aggro, just keeping characters safe. And like, it's keeping them safe because it's at the end of your turn. It's not like you can ready your other characters and then do anything with them because it has to be at the end of your turn. So it's not like you can ready up and immediately sing, but just keeping them safe so they can't be challenged. So that next turn they can sing, challenge, quest. But yeah, this is a very powerful card I expected to see play. And I will quickly mention Jack here, 4 cost inkable 0/7, quest for 2. Shout out to the Lab Rats for getting this as a reveal. Absolutely on theme. And yeah, R&B said that he thinks this is the greatest flavor text in Lorcana at the moment. And it's definitely a strong case. There's only one thing I like more than cheese. None. R&B did that one better than me, 100%. Go watch his impression of Jack. But yeah, shout out to R&B for getting this as their reveal. And yeah, I mean, this is a big bulky boy in quest for 2. The 0 strength is super sad because like all the things that target low strength characters, this is going to be a prime target for, but still 7 willpower is not insignificant in questing for 2, so I don't know, like, it's not something I expect to see meta play straight away, but I've seen worse statted vanillas, so yeah, he's interesting. Oh, there is one more amber card, which is kind of cool, which I haven't talked about. Naveen's Ukulele, 1 cost inkable item. Make it sing, 1 cost, pay 1, sorry. Banish this item. Chosen character counts as having +3 cost to sing songs this turn. This opens up an absolute world of possibilities. We've had a couple of things with similar effects. Like there's the Stitches record player, which is exclusively for him, but it's nowhere near a boost of this. There's also, is it Atlantis? City of Atlantis, something like that, which allows, it's a location. It's definitely a location that lets characters have a higher singing cost. But yeah, this +3, and this is quite reasonably costed and inkable. So yeah, there's definitely going to be some cheese combo here. I mean, like loads of possibilities, but you look at Ursula, Deceiver of All, suddenly she is double singing 6 cost songs, which is super interesting. There's going to be some utility with sing together songs. So yeah, this seems like it's a card that you could build an archetype around. How good is that archetype? Does it go further than just being like a rogue fun deck? Unsure, but this is an interesting card. Moving on to Amethyst, I've reviewed some of these already, but there are a few that I've missed and have come out since that I want to talk about. First of all, this card, which a lot of you are probably thinking, what on earth, why on earth are you highlighting this, Baker? The Carpenter, Dinner Companion, 2 cost inkable 1/1 quest for 1, and I'll get you when this character is banished. You may exert chosen character. I am highlighting this purely because it is a character that cares about being banished, which is something I've been saying for a while I want more of. We don't have many. We have Mufasa, and we have Eric, Expert Helmsman, and there's probably something else like Grandma Tala as well. So yeah, we don't have many though. I think we can at least agree on that, even if I'm forgetting 1 or 2. But yeah, a character that cares about being banished and doesn't care about whose turn it is either. So cards that we've got where we need to banish our own characters, which isn't a lot, but there are a couple. This is potentially some synergy. I mean, most of you can already tell I'm talking about this 90% because I want most Diabolical Scheme to eventually be playable. So I need villains that care about being banished, that want to be banished for reasons. So I can compare it with that. Obviously, this isn't a villain, but again, it's another character that like gives you there is a plus to it being banished if you play like self-banishing cards. And yeah, exerting opposing character, there are worse effects to have. It's not something I'm expecting us to see straight away, but it is a precedent that I like and I want to see more of. Next up, Scar. Tempestuous Lion? Tempestuous? Let me know. I don't know. Tempestuous, I want to say. 6 cost, look at this art, though. Like, bruh, my boy. 6 cost uninkable, 4/4, quest for 2, sorcerer. Only just noticed that, alright. I mean, yeah, I'll buy it from the art, but Sorcerer's Scar? I've only just noticed that. I saw this card like a week ago. I'm only just getting around to doing reviews, but that's the first time I'm noticing that. Rush and Challenger 3. So, yeah, I really like this card. The fact that this is one-shotting castles in itself is significant, and the more characters with 7 willpower that are in meta make this more significant. There's Ursula, the Floodborn, the Sea Witch Queen. But yeah, castle's one of the big ones, and you gotta know that we're gonna get more. So this is a lovely, lovely number to hit. And yeah, anything below, like, it's taking out, and it's questing for 2. It is uninkable, and like, it's a bit more expensive than Maui, but again, this means that if you're not playing red, then you have potential access to this effect. And if you're Blurple, like, I think this has got Blurple all over it, but even outside of Blurple, I think just maybe it's probably more of a meta response. Depends how much whatever deck you're playing, if you're playing Amethyst, it depends how much you fear castles or 7 willpower characters, which may not be entirely because you already have access to things like Fox or Crab. So all decks might not need this. But I think Blurple would love to play this nonetheless with the 2 lore on there as well. So yeah, like I like this card. I think Blurple, I would definitely try this straight away. And even outside of Blurple, it may have utility. Another one to look at, Madam Mim. Truly marvellous. 3 cost uninkable, 2/3, quest for 1. And oh, bat gizzards. Pay 2. Choose and discard a card. Gain 1 lore. So just the fact that you don't have to exert or challenge or quest or anything, like this is just an ability that you can do over and over again as long as you have the ink to pay for it. And that's what makes this dangerous more than anything, but because it is another just like win card. If you have 2 or 3 cards in hand and you're at that 17, 18 lore mark, this is a card that you can draw, put it down, and immediately, again, assuming you've got at least 6 ink, which probably by that point in the game you likely have, like, this could just be game 3. And again, it's not always going to be game 3, it's going to depend how well you've held your hand. But, like, in some situations where you have maintained well, and you've played things like friends, keepers, you've maintained your rabbits, you could be able to put this down. Again, it's going to depend on how many times you can pay for it in a turn. I think 10 is a reasonable ink amount for Amethyst to have. Again, it's in the late game, but it's like that bit more of a reach. Like if you've got the 10 ink, which I think is reasonable for a late point in the game. If you've got 5 cards in your hand, which is a lot, I don't know how consistent it's going to be, but this is game 5 straight away. So this is super interesting. Like it's not like you don't have to wait or anything. You can just put this down and start using it. So we don't care about the stat. Like, we don't care about anything to do with it other than the cost, obviously, and the fact that she's uninkable. Is there room for her? Based on how consistently we feel like this is going to be worth it, I'm not sure. Like, I'd be tempted to try at least one of these straight away. I'd maybe not in Ruby Amethyst. I don't think there's room. It's a good card. I think it gets outclassed by a lot of things. Blurple maybe, and maybe another Blurple card. I don't know. I think this ability is too strong to not at least potentially see some niche play, even if it becomes that card that is like a one-of in some decks, which is just like another potential closer. Yeah, I'm really interested in this card. I'm not convinced of how good it's going to be, but I think it's got to do something. Next up, we got the Mad Hatter Eccentric Host. 1 cost inkable, 1/1, quest for 1, and we'll have to look into this. Whenever this character quests, you may look at the top card of chosen player's deck, put it on top of their deck, or into the discard. What the Okay. So y'all know I love the Mad Hatter. Love this art. This scares me so much. Yes, it is easily taken out. There's nothing like, there's no ward, there's no evasive. The 1 strength it's doing in return is quite often not taking you out. It's only questing for 1. Quite often you're going to be losing card advantage just by putting this down, but we have a couple of other pieces now to this mill out strategy. This is absolutely going to be a part of it. I'm not happy. Next up, we've got Tomago or Tomago. I've actually watched this film now, even though me not knowing how to pronounce his second name may make you doubt that. But I did sit down and watch Big Hero 6 at 6, and I absolutely really enjoyed it. Like, the opening super, like, drew me in with the spoilers for Big Hero 6, by the way. Yeah, the opening where it's the competition reminded me of Robot Wars, which was the show that we had in the UK when I was growing up. But yeah, with his bot, and then it turns its face and it goes from the happy to angry face. That was super cool. After that, it started to lose me for a little bit. I like his gang. They're all interesting in a way, and all of them had at least a couple of moments where I was really enjoying the characters. And Baymax in particular is super cute. I know he's a fan favorite for a lot of people, and just seeing his design never did a lot for me. I was always kind of a bit dubious as to how this character was becoming such a fan favorite. But yeah, he is very endearing, and yeah, right at the end I was like, oh no. I did get very emotionally involved, but the villain really won me over, and we'll talk about him a little bit when we get there. But yeah, watch this film, thoroughly enjoyed it. But this card is bonkers, mate. 2 cost inkable, 2/2, Hero Inventor, quest for 1, evasive, and stop whining, woman up. When you play this character, when you play this character, you may pay 2 ink to gain lore equal to the damage on chosen opposing character. This is one of the greatest payoff cards we've seen so far to a damage matters based deck. We've seen a lot of cards that do damage to a character if they've already got damage, and like a couple of benefits from just damage characters. Like you could draw if you challenge a damage character, things like this. But this payoff is fantastic. And against any deck that is running big bulky characters, this is so incredibly dangerous. If they put down a Tamatoa, and like again, this is assuming we build our deck in a way to be able to consistently do ping damage to the opponent. And again, with more cards, hopefully that becomes more and more possible. We can create situations where they put down something like a Tamatoa, and we can, with 1 card, do like a big ping of damage to it. Even if it's a big card. I mean, even just something like Zeus, that's 5 in and of itself. And then you play this, you pay the 2, so 9 ink at the point in the game, like at a late point in the game. And there's going to be other combo cards, but yeah, that's 9 ink. Zeus, play this, pay the 2, gain 5 lore, which could be the final jump you need. And it could be even more than 5 if you've been able to, like, if they've exerted and you're able to do a couple of challenges as well and, like, get it to the point where it's you've done 6, 7, however much damage and just benefit from this as much as you can. So I think this is so good. The fact that it's inkable as well. Even lower to the ground decks normally have at least 1 or 2 characters with 4 or 5 willpower. Even that can be good enough. Like, if you're gaining 3 lore just from putting this down, like paying 4 total, 2 for the cost and 2 for the effect cost, then that is value, mate. So yeah, I think this is really good. One of the best cards revealed in the set so far, in my opinion. Next up, we got Honey Lemon, Chemical Genius, 2-cost inkable, 1/1 quest for 2. When you play this character, you may pay 2 ink to have each opponent choose and discard a card. This is absolutely going to have a place in certain discard decks. Obviously, if you want to use the effect, then you play this on 4. You could also play something like Friar Tuck, who also is a 4-cost quest for 2 and has a better stat line. But Friar Tuck is the player with the most cards, which sometimes can't proc from the context of the game. This is always just a discard a card. And again, even if you don't pay the extra 2, it's just a 2-cost that's questing for 2. So I think this is good. And again, it's an inventor, which there are some cards in this set that care about inventors. Next up, we got Fred, a mascot by day. He was one of my favourites. 1-cost inkable, 1/1 quest for 1. And how cool is that? Whenever this character is challenged, gain 2 lore. I really like this. Yes, this can be offset by them getting rid of it with something like Sisu Daring Visitor or Brawl. I mean, if they Brawl this, though, I'm normally happy with that, especially if I'm playing green. Like, okay, that's 1 less Brawl for my Diablos or Ursa Deceivers of all. Things like that. Daring Visitor, yeah, fine. It's going to hurt a little bit, but I don't think I care that much. I think you're going to get this off a lot of the time. Again, it's a 3 lore bump, like, if you think about it in respect of I quested and then you challenged me. So it's a potential gain 3 lore for a 1-cost inkable, which I really like. And if we can get cheesy situations where there are characters in format with 0 strength, and we can Reckless and potentially get this procced multiple times, or give him resist, that could be a combo there as well. So yeah, I quite like Fred. Just a quick look at Prince Phillip, Royal Explorer, 3-cost inkable, 3/2 quest for 2, and Ward. On the group podcast that I did not too long ago, Kawa brought this up as one of the cards that he thought was interesting from the new set, and I absolutely agree with him. I really like this. 3-cost is quite commonly is a good cost for a singer, so the fact that, like, this is warded, so like if you really want to get that 3-cost song off on turn 4, then this is a nice way to help assure that. There are other ways like just shifting and things like that, but I like this, and it's questing for 2, and it gives us an inkable Prince Phillip, which we don't have many of, and I'm still desperate to, like, I really like the Prince Phillip, the 9-cost inkable Floodborn, which on play banishes all damaged characters, which is one of our other, like, best cards for a payoff, that, like, for a damage matters deck. And yeah, I think nearly all the Prince Phillips are uninkable and not great. I mean, one of them's alright, gives ward to heroes. But yeah, this being inkable, obviously, we much prefer. And yeah, he's warded, quest for 2, I'm a fan. Alright, let's look at Bend to My Will. 7-cost uninkable. Each opponent discards all cards in their hand. At last, this is where your luck runs out. This art is amazing. Let's say that straight away. And y'all know Jafar is like my second favourite villain. Like, I adore him. I'm aware I look a bit like him as well. It's okay to say. But yeah, this ability is obviously not something I find fun. I've made no secrets about that. I'm not a fan of this card. And just discard the entire hand, mate. This is super expensive. Of course, there are combos available. There is an Iago from set 4 or 5 he's evasive as well. And I think he's a 2/4 evasive, and on quest, 4-cost, and on quest, the cost of your next action is 2 less. And there are a couple of other cards that care about actions and can play them cheaper. There's Dr. Facilier's cards that was in Chapter 1, and there's a couple of other, I don't know if they're characters or items, but there are things that can lower action cost. So there is potential to play this on turn 5. It might be too much setup to be consistent. There is also, although it doesn't see hardly any play at all, but there's the Magicka Dispel in Amethyst that stops you discarding from card effects on your opponent's turn. It's also getting an Yzma that lets you draw to 3. So it could be that enough decks, or just, well, Amethyst. If Amethyst can build in a way where it can tech for this a bit more, it can play either the, because I think it plays the Yzma anyway. I don't think you need to play the Magiga to spell. Maybe you do as an extra, but I think there's reason to play the Yzma anyway. And if that ends up being enough that this becomes never worth it, because it's not loads of setup, but I don't know, like, I don't want it to be consistent so that this can't really see play, especially as an uninkable. It's going to see some testing. There are going to be rogue decks that utilize this. And again, if you play this with Prince John, like Prince John into Iago into this, bag gold metal. Yeah, it is going to see some play. I'm a little worried about it, but I'm not like, oh, this is definitely going to be way too broken. There's no way we can respond to this. It's going to ruin the game. I think Amethyst may be able to deal with it, and maybe that's enough. Maybe it's enough, but Emerald decks still jam one of these. And again, especially if you're with Sapphire and you can ink it in different ways. Yeah, I think it's going to have an impact. I don't think it's going to like destroy the game, because I think there are workarounds, but I do think it's going to have an impact on the game. I'm only going to look at a few more, maybe another 10 minutes, so there will be at least one more review video after this one to finish off the set. But yeah, this one's super interesting. Into Ruby, we've got Moana, 7 cost, inkable, 6/5, Floodborn Hero, Princess, Pirate, Captain. You go, girl. Quest for 1, Shift 5, and Gathering Forces. When you play this character, you may move any number of your characters to the same location for free. Gain 1 lore for each character you moved. This effect is nuts. Just the fact that we can move characters to locations for free, multiple characters, that in itself is not something that a lot of cards allow us to do. We have a couple of things where we can move for free. There's the Tuk Tuk. Jim Hawkins can obviously move himself to locations for free. There's the Go the Distance. It's not called Go the Distance. I Will Find My Way. I think I Will Find My Way. I think Emerald. And you can move to a location. So we have a few cards that can help us move to locations, but not a whole lot. And this is a super good one, being a Floodborn, super well statted at 6/5, 7 costs, so she can even sing Be Prepared and other notable songs that we might have and get. She's got a ton of keywords that are relevant, Pirate and Captain in particular, Princess. Yeah, all of these keywords can be relevant to certain cards. They're some of the best characterizations. Some of these characterizations are the best to have in the game. And if you're gaining 1 lore for each character moved, that could be crazy. Like, even if you're just moving 2 or 3 characters, like, still, just an instant plus 2 or 3. And this is a card that makes us take a serious look at all the locations that we have that have been written off just because they're too expensive to move to, and see which ones now have good enough abilities, and we now have a way to maybe I don't know how consistent it's going to be, but this is one of our most powerful ways to move multiple characters to locations for free. And based on how well we can set that up and what the payoff is to these locations, this could be super good. We looked at the other day at the finish line for Sugar Rush Speedway, which is 7 to move there. But you banish it, gain 3, draw 3. That's an incredible payoff. So even if you just play this to move 1 character there, gain 1 lore, but then get the finish line effect off, that is nuts. So just any location here that had an interesting ability, but it was just too expensive to move to, which really, anything above 1 is too expensive to move to. You take a second look. They're not all going to be great. Like Great Luminary, it's an interesting ability, but I don't expect it to immediately see play. The Sherwood Forest is interesting because your characters gain ward while there, which is a super strong ability. The 7 Dwarves Mine, which is 2 to move there. So yeah, just take a look through all of that. And I will take a more in-depth look when I'm going to do a tier list, I think, for Azurite Sea when the entire set is out. And by then I will have had a more in-depth look at all of these locations and see which ones I think could benefit the most. Fang is a pretty cool one. So yeah, I won't name them all right now because I don't want to get too stuck into it, but I will at some point. But just take a look yourself at all of these locations, and yeah, suddenly if it's easier to move there, they could be more viable. In regards to shift targets, there are a fair few. Not many of them are that... In regards to shift targets, there are a fair few. Ruby already had this Floodborn, and then this 4 cost, and this 5 cost from Chapter 1. Amber has this 3 cost, and this additional Floodborn option. So red, yellow, Moana, tribal deck. But the most interesting target that we have for this is the new 1 cost Ingable Self-Taught Sailor, 3/2 quest for 1. This character can't challenge unless you have a captain character in play. So 3/2 on a 1 cost is incredible. And I'll be honest, even if we can't challenge, we're not always going to care. The Flynn proc off of this, I think, is going to be super relevant. I've been playing around with Felicia for a while now, just because I think there could be relevance there to, like, on the play, being able to Felicia. They do a turn 1 drop. You play Flynn on 2. Far less odds that on their turn 2 they're going to be able to find a character with at least 3 strength. Some decks are going to be able to do it, but not all of them. So I think that in itself has always been kind of interesting, but the Reckless on Felicia is not great. But yeah, this 3/2 is super good. And hey, if you build a deck where you are able to play captains with this is so well statted. So yeah, I like this. We've got this Tigger here. Oh, I love this art. I remember when the trailer for Azurite Sea first came out, I exclaimed seeing this boy. A lot of love for Tigger. In the Crow's Nest, 3 cost Ingable, 0/4 quest for 1. Evasive. Whenever you play an action, this character gets +1 strength and +1 law this turn. This is a super good card. Like, as part of an action packet. Like, again, this is now a payoff for being able to play multiple actions and have an action matters deck, because this could potentially be great. Even like you play this on 3, on turn 4 you could be playing 4 actions and then be questing for 5 with this if we've got enough 1 cost actions, or even if it's just 2 or 3, like you play a couple of 1s and a 2, something like that, then that's super good. And if you've got multiples of these, yes, 0 strength we don't like because of the amount of cards that immediately take it out, but the payoff for this is good enough, and this is inkable, that you build around this, and it's absolutely worth the inclusion. Will that Action Matters deck be a meta deck? Still to be found out, but it's definitely going to be a rogue deck. Just from this card alone, I think just raises the status of an Action Matters deck. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this Tigger. Next up, we've got the islands I poured from the sea. What can I say except you're welcome? I love this. Also, the first Enchanted that I'm showing off, the new Enchanted style from Azurite Sea, which I'm absolutely in love with. It's one of my favourite styles so far. But yeah, this is a cool card. 3 cost Uninkable Song. Search your deck for a location card. Reveal that card to all players and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. We know tutors are really strong. And again, they allow you to build in a way where you don't necessarily need to play max copies of these locations. I mean, for an example, Sugar Rush Finish Line or the Speedway, even being able to fish those out to combo with each other seems super good. You might play 4 of them anyway, just because they are that good, but you might not, because they're both uninkable, and if you're playing this as well, that's more uninkable. So you've got to draw the line somewhere. So a card like this can kind of warrant playing a lower count of those uninkable locations that you just want to fish out at the right time, or even just multiple one-off locations that are like a toolbox variant if different locations are good in specific matchups. So yeah, I absolutely think there's going to be some utility here, and depending on how good locations are this format, up until now it's just been Queen's Castle, Library and Cove, and kind of a bit of Pride Lands, but other than that, that's about it. But I think we got some good location support this set. It could make other locations better, which in turn could really warrant running this card. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this. Alright, this is the second to last card that I'm going to look at in this video, and then the next video will finish it off. But yeah, this is one of the most bonkers ones for sure. We've got Maui Half-Shark. Love this art. 6 cost Ingable, 7/5, quest for 1, evasive, and chee-hoo! Whenever this character challenges another character, you may return an action card from your discard to your hand. And wayfinding, whenever you play an action, gain 1 law, because why the heck not? Excuse me. This is a card you can build around. This is another great payoff, like a great piece of an Action Matters deck. And you combo this with things like Robin Hood, who's already in Ruby, who gets actions into the discard pile. He also uses them for free. But sometimes you're hitting multiple actions, or sometimes Robin Hood will hit an action, you'll use it, and then this is a way of also getting it back so you can use it again. Let's not forget that songs are actions, my friends. So this is mad. Like, it's a bit slow, but this payoff is good enough. That you put in ways to give it rush, whether you're with Amethyst and use Cogsworth, or I think more likely is the Vitalisphere. I think Vitalisphere is the Ruby one, where you go +2 strength and gives rush. And there are a couple of other ways of giving rush, and we're going to get more. And even if you don't give this rush, this is a must-answer character that does not, like, it'll die to Zeus, so Zeus becoming better and better as time goes on. But it's hard to be able to remove this outside of that, because Medusas aren't doing a lot. Even if you're paired with Sapphire, you're gonna need. That's a lot of ice cubes you need. That's a lot of ice cubes. Kida and Under the Sea. I mean, yeah, even Kida ain't enough. So yeah, this even if you take the slow turn, this is not easily removed, and with evasive. So yeah, returning an action from your discard to your hand seems super good. And yeah, also on top of that, game 1 lore just for playing actions. And yeah, if you can set up that board with Tigger and Maui and then just play a bunch of 1-cost actions, the reach. This is one I'm worried might get out of hand. Let me know what you think about Maui Half-Shark. Alright, this is the last one that I'm going to look at for today. Alright, this is the last one that I'm going to look at for today. I've still got to look at most of Sapphire, and then I've left 1 or 2 cards from each other ink, and whatever's going to be is still to be revealed. But we'll finish that off next episode. But this is going to be the last one I look at today, other than the ship targets. We've got Yokai, scientific supervillain. I'm in love. And the character was so cool. In some ways, sometimes I felt like he was too cool for the film. Again, don't get me wrong, I did enjoy the film, and like the gang are cool with the Big Hero 6. Good soundtrack, and yeah, a lot of love for Baymax in particular. But yeah, there were times where I was like, you guys are cool, but this guy is like, he is him. 9-cost Ingable, 6/10, quest for 2, shift 6 on top of one of your Yokais. And we got Neurotransmitter. You may play items named Microbots for free. And technical gain. Whenever this character quests, draw a card for each opposing character with 0 strength. So a quick look at the shift targets. We have a 1-cost Ingable 2/2. Get in. And we've got this 4-cost Ingable 3/3 quest for 2 and time to upgrade. Whenever this character quests, you may return one of your items to your hand to pay 2 ink less for the next item you play this turn. I'm going to skim over this, but this is actually super good in and of itself. Like, just replaying Porpsicles and just cheating in higher cost items. So I'm glazing over this a bit, but this is super good in and of itself. But yeah, I told a lie. We kind of have to look at Microbots. 2-cost Ingable item. You may have any number of cards named Microbots in your deck. And Inspired Tech. When you play this item, chosen character gets -1 strength this turn for each item named Microbots you have in play. So we already know just lowering strength by 1 can be significant if you're comboed with cards that care about strength, a la Medusa, Brawl, etc, etc. But obviously this is meant to combo specifically with Yokai. You get them down to 0 strength, and then when you quest, you draw for each of their characters with 0 strength. Obviously the -1 only lasts for the turn, but you play a Microbot on one turn, and then you play another Microbot on the following turn. And again, you're playing them for free if you've got Yokai out. Then it still accounts for all the Microbots. So your second Microbot is their -2 strength, and so on and so forth. So there's absolutely going to be some cheesy combos that you can pull off here. Also just characters that already have 0 strength, which there aren't tons, but there's a couple, and could be more and more over time. This stat line is absolutely bonkers. You're not getting rid of this outside of targeted remove. There's Tremaines and B-Kings, of course. But yeah, you're not getting rid of this based on, oh no, World's Greatest Criminal Mind. I'm telling absolute lies. Yeah, okay, so there are a couple of things that are going to not like that he has 6 strength. But still, he's a big, bulky boy, questing for 2. I think he's super cool. How good is this Microbot deck going to be? Unsure. I did see a picture of one of the Ravensburger devs that was already using this deck. Playing the Microbots with the Ariel from Chapter 1, who can re-ready whenever you play an item, and she can keep questing. And I hated it. I absolutely hated it. But this card in particular, I just think is super cool. But that's going to be it for today's video, looking at Azurite Sea. We'll do one more to finish off the set, and then yeah, just before the set actually drops, I'll look to do a tier list. Now that once we've had time to absorb it and see the synergy and have a bit more of a think about it. So expect that to come. Couple of quick admin notes. First of all, I will be recording my final video covering the set championship lists in a couple of days, probably on Monday or Tuesday. I've put up, I've requoted the Twitter thread saying last call if you want to be featured in the last video. If you don't have Twitter, again, feel free to email me, lorcanavillain@gmail.com. If you've already emailed me, I haven't replied, don't worry. That just means I've got the list. It will be in my records, so no worries there. And of course, let me know if the list is specifically for a junior, and feel free to send me pictures of you holding the mat, holding the prizes. I want to say thank you one more time to Elestrals for sending me that gift set, and yeah, the links will be down below if you want to check it out yourself. And there'll be one more link down below. I was recently invited to come onto the Lore League Twitch channel. I'm going to be casting for Lore League on my channel in Bologna, Italy, towards the end of the month. It's only a couple of weeks away, actually, which is super exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. And yeah, they invited me to come onto their Twitch channel and do an interview. It's very long. It's about 2 hours, maybe just over. And because they are Italian speaking, well, they speak English, but after every sort of part of conversation, they were translating into Italian for their viewers that only speak Italian. But we had a super good chat, talked about a lot of different things. So if you're interested, that will be linked down below as well. It'll be a link to their YouTube version. It was streamed live on Twitch, but it was re-uploaded to YouTube. Lastly, I know I promised Heffalumps and Woozles this week. It's going to be next week. I'm super sorry. It's only because I want to put some effort into it and I just haven't been able to find the time. I could have just got it out of the way today and just looked at the lyric sheet and just sang the whole thing. But I've got an idea and I want to put some effort into it. So I apologize it's later than I said it would be, but hopefully it'll be because it'll be worth it and funnier. But that's going to be it from me for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you're brand new to the channel, please subscribe for all things Lorcana. Hit that like button to show your support, and we'll see you soon.